Why don't we talk
my
about the
goodness.
guy that built a Nintendo Switch from scratch?
Yeah.
So is the original source for this actually Imgur?
I think so.
User Sarbaz37 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Do you wanna share this on screen by any chance?
It's a little tricky for me to do right now, but I will try to get that going. Just start the topic and it'll show up
You
eventually.
know what? It's fine. I'll do it. Why don't you do the
Okay.
topic? You haven't talked much today. You go ahead.
All right. Well, Sarbaz37, as Linus said, built his own custom Switch from various parts that he bought on the internet. That did include a what did they exactly call it? Replacement motherboard. That's where the software came from. Just in case you were wondering, like, how the heck did he get the operating system and everything on there? He's got a list of components that goes really, really long, but most of it's like, pretty cheap, and it equaled about $200 right now due to everyone being stuck at home and COVID and whatnot, and Animal Crossing coming out all at the same time. Switch prices went through the roof because you can't find them anywhere, so he decided to build his own. Apparently, the eBay average price was close to 2 times his bill of materials cost. That being said, not 100% sure everyone's gonna be comfortable doing this, but
Yeah, that is not a small undertaking. Looking at that
no,
pile of parts.
yeah, it also doesn't look impossible.
Well, no, I mean, if people can do it in a factory, I'm sure that with the
Yeah, but
amazing guides that exist, like it can be done pretty easily.
I mean, even not for this looks possible for someone who is maybe at least somewhat comfortable with electronics in general, like built a computer before, and if you follow this guy's guide, which honestly looks awesome, you could maybe do it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
this looks incredible. I
Yeah,
love it.
it looks like a really fun project, to be
It
honest.
really does. Build your own Nintendo Switch for $200. That's freaking awesome.
You should do it.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
You should be like, and like give him a shout out, whatever. But like I wanted to see, having some electronics background because you've messed with the RC cars and done some stuff like that. I want to see if I can build my own Switch too. I think I would watch that for sure.
Yeah, I should stick someone on that.
Cool.
I mean, what do you think?
Apparently upwards of $450 to $600 for a used Switch in the Seattle area.
Wow, I should sell my Switch. Dang. I mean, it's crazy. Like the way that the whole like COVID hoarding / panic buying thing is affecting different things, right? Like first it was
new
toilet
mic,
paper.
You keep cutting out.
Oh, really? Oh, sorry.
I lost like half of
that. First it was toilet paper that people were panic buying, right? And
Yeah.
then it was what? What was the next one? I forget. But after that, it was like hair dye. Like everyone was buying hair dye because it had been 6 weeks and people needed to do a dye job on their roots or whatever. And then like now it's Nintendo Switches. You know what?
Oh, it's actually been Nintendo Switches for a little while now.
This actually leads really well into one of the topics that I wanted to talk about. So I had a topic in the doc here called "I Was Right." I absolutely.
You're legitimately cutting out a lot for me.
Oh.
I can barely understand what you're saying.
Hold on, I will fix it. All right. Look, Luke, I will fix it. Okay, just have some patience.
Oh God. I can't handle that.
Okay, is that better?
That's better.
All right, you good. All right. So yeah, so I made a video a little while ago that I received some criticism for. A lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, this makes sense. Thanks for the great video." But a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is like fear mongering. This is contributing to the problem. This is stupid or whatever else." And it was called "Buy a Computer Right Now," was what that video was called. And what it was based on was like, look, at the time, YouTube was demonetizing or at least putting limited monetization on videos that talked about coronavirus or COVID-19 or anything like that. So I kind of danced around it, but I said, look, regardless of the outcome of what's going on in the world right now, that was all I could really say. Regardless of that, supply chains have been disrupted. And I didn't say run out and panic buy all the computers. I didn't say anything like that. But what I did say was if you are planning to buy a computer, do it now as opposed to waiting, because pricing is going to go up. And there were some people that disagreed with my analysis, with my evaluation. At the time when that video was published, factories were already ramping their production back up. But the reason that I went ahead and I published it anyway was because I knew that those factories weren't at 100%, even when every factory in Asia and around the world is running at 100%. You can still run into dips in supply and spikes in demand.
Sure.
And people's behavior was going to be unpredictable over the next little while. So there were all these things that were contributing to me being pretty darn sure that we were going to be in a situation where if there was something that you wanted, you should probably pull the trigger on it today rather than waiting around. And that has turned out to be true. So that video was published on February 29th. So that was about a month, just over a month and a half ago. And if you had bought your Switch on February 29th, you would have paid retail price. And I even made it clear in the video that this was not just about computers. I talked about computers a lot because it's something that I know really well from my background as a product manager for computer hardware. So I talked about that, but I also specifically mentioned badminton shuttles as something that was in short supply and that had prices just skyrocketing at the time. Now, with all the gyms closed, nobody's playing badminton, so that situation seems to have sorted itself out. But
there's one thing I'll add in here as well is, and badminton shuttles is specifically what made me think of this, because the like plastics and stuff involved. A decent amount of manufacturing has switched over to supplies that are more in need during COVID. Masks, face shields, other things, because I'm not
any
very
personal
well versed in this
protective
topic.
equipment. Yeah.
But yeah, so like people making birdies, did you call them?
Shuttles.
Shuttles. There we go.
Sorry, excuse me. Shuttle.
Those factories may or may not, I don't know, but they may have switched over to making something else in the meantime. So the demand might still stay pretty high there,
even if the factories are running.
Yeah.
And so I specifically mentioned other things because that was my point. If there was some kind of frivolous, stupid thing that you were planning to buy, like a toy, like a gaming computer, or like a Nintendo Switch, or whatever the case may be, you should pull the trigger now. And the supply chain is interrupted at basically every stage now. So distribution, drivers are being pushed really hard right now to get supplies out to warehouses. The last mile is overwhelmed. You can see Amazon has got those warnings on their site that are like, yeah, we have reduced the availability of whatever, due to there are more pressing things that need to be delivered and the workforce is small, and all those kinds of issues that we're going through right now. And so I just want to say that I called it 6 weeks ago. I said, if you want to buy something, you should buy it today. And another example that is specific to computer hardware, webcams are basically out of stock everywhere. Capture cards, you cannot get them. Anything to do with game streaming. So Emma's not the only one that's like, hey, I'm not working right now. You know what? I'm just going to be a game streamer.
Yeah. And I mean, luckily for her, it's actually working out quite well. But I'm not surprised. When the second I kind of clicked in, like, I thought classes were just going to go on hold.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to bother try to get every teacher on the freaking planet to be able to teach from home.
Yeah.
But they did. And that's amazing. But the second I heard that was the thing, I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah.
Webcams, I don't think have a gigantic market. So when this happened, like, oh my goodness, supply chains were obviously not ready for that.
Yeah. Or like they do, but the upgrade cycle of that market is pretty slow. Like I think if you bought a webcam in the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't
bought another one.
Yeah, they haven't improved significantly in that time.
I was going to say, and with good reason, because they're not much better.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I really had to say about that was like, thank you, doubters and haters. I actually nailed it, and my timing, if anything, was maybe even a little bit late, because I know there were some things that were already a little bit more challenging to find, even if the pricing hadn't necessarily been affected yet. but I would expect that there are still going to be things that are going to spike in pricing before all this thing is this whole thing is over. And it won't necessarily be core components like DRAM, but it also could. And that was one of the points that I made in the video. I was like, look, Samsung just shut down the factory that makes, I forget what phone it was, but some phone, Z Flip, I think it was. They shut down that factory. It was only for a weekend, but like, this is not going to be the last time that something unexpectedly shuts down. So if you want some certainty, if you want to know how much things are going to cost, then you should do it now. And the thing that actually prompted me to be all like, haha, I told you so about this was the comments on the stream that I did. I think it was 2 weeks ago on a Friday. It was an $800 Friday build stream. At the time we spec'd that machine, it was $800, give or take. I think we ended up with the RGB version of the case instead of the regular one, so it was like a bit more or something. But it was about $800. And the comments on that video are full of people who have clicked down below, followed all the links, and are like, this is like $1,000. I'm like,
I mean, that sucks. I shouldn't laugh, but it's kind of funny that the point was proven, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what?
You can't predict the future.
So. Yeah, what do you guys want from me? When I title a video, all I can title it is what it is today. I can't title it what it is tomorrow. Like I can't, you know what I should do right now is I should go back and change the title of that video. Buy a computer right now. I'm going to change it to buy a computer 6 weeks ago. Because apparently that's the answer.
You should make like a follow-up video called Don't Buy a Computer Right Now. Or something. And just go over like, look, this is what happened to the prices. And check out like average prices across different components across the stack.
Yeah, I wonder if we could do it like sponsored by Honey or something. Because they've got their
discounts.
The price history thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm always working them angles.
Oh, that's big brain.
Working them angles. Big brain. Thank you for that. I hadn't had my daily dose of memes today.